That music only means one thing. I mean, it's Sunday night. This is Digital Influence Live. That is James Sweezy. That is Brian Kendrick. And I am Steezo, the producer. Welcome to Digital Influence Live.
Well, that sucks.
No, we're good. It's working here. It's Facebook's updating.
Is that what it is?
Yes, sir.
All right, I'll
Can't hear?
The comments are all saying can't hear Sweezy.
Yep, they're saying they can't hear me. So
Okay.
let me turn my volume up.
No,
real quick.
you're good. Levels here going out. Give it.
Yep.
There's a bit of a delay.
All right.
So go ahead and start again.
Louder for us in the back. Can't hear. Can anyone hear now? They're saying they can't hear. Yep. It's coming across a bunch of angry face. I don't know what's going on. I mean, my mic's on.
I can
Our
hear it.
levels looking good.
It's being all the meters are working. It might take a minute in the room to update.
There's a bit of delay. Hold on. I'm watching it
I
on
can
the.
hear. I can hear.
It says you're good now.
I can
Now
hear
we
somewhere.
can. All right, let me go back to it then. I apologize for the delay. Y'all let us know if you can't hear me anymore, but I'm going to say it again then.
It's a
Restart.
Huh?
Restart the whole thing.
There will be no restart. So,
Want me to replay the intro?
Kevin still says can't hear. Eric says I can. All right, I think we got it figured out. I think it took a minute to catch up. I'll just say it again. To the Kentucky State Legislature, to all the representatives, to the senators, to the governor, any vote to ban legal vaping products is a vote to poison your own constituents. And I use history to back that up. And what I was reading you all was some stats. Over 50,000 people died from tainted alcohol during Prohibition because the demand is too high. You understand? There's so many people vaping, so many people that are quitting smoking, and there's a bunch of smokers that are about to transition to vaping because it gives them a chance to quit smoking. We vape, we vote, and you're going to lose a lot of votes when you step in. And you can't back it up. You can't say flavored vape products, okay? Because Bartles and James wine coolers. Are you going after Budweiser? Are you going after big tobacco? No, you're not, because we're in Kentucky and tobacco is a cash crop. That's why you're not going after Marlboro. That's why you're not running down, because the tobacco farmers in rural Kentucky will stop voting for you. And the same thing is going to happen if you try to ban legal vape. Here's another number. Over 500 suicides from Chantix. Where is the outrage and the charge towards a pharmaceutical narcotic that you put in, or not a narcotic? I don't know. It's prescription only, right?
No, but it's a pharmaceutical. And I want to tell you, James, that you got me sweating. You've done pissed off the politicians and you're talking about death and you're comparing vaping to alcohol. We're not going to make it through this live, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, look what happens when the demand is so high. When the demand for alcohol was so high, you take it away. The law-abiding citizens stopped producing. The people that abide by the law stopped what they were doing, right? The only people that produce after that is the black market, just like in Prohibition, killing over 50,000 people. How about this number? 7 million teenagers right now prescribe Adderall and Ritalin. Where's the outrage at 7 million teenagers being put on? Those are narcotics, by the way. Adderalls are narcotic. No outrage for that. But illegal black market THC cartridges that were tainted with hydrogen cyanide kill some people, which is a horrible thing. I'm very sorry. Our prayers go out to the families of the people that were lost. That is awful. And it's also a lesson to not buy illegal products off of the black market. Matt Bradley commented the other day from Deadliest Catch. A lot of y'all know we have him on our show. He said, hey, drug dealers, please start flavoring your opiates so the government will come after you. It's kind of the same principle. Like, why don't we ban heroin? Why don't we ban heroin, y'all, to stop the overdoses, right? So we can ban vaping to stop it. Something bad happens. Somebody from an illegal market, the black market, comes in and starts selling something, and you ban the ones that are doing it right. Brian, yeah, you vape. I was about to ask you if you vape. But.
Is this where we're all supposed to vape?
I guess so. That's all right. So look.
No, James. I don't condone vaping. I'm not after big tobacco.
One more thing. Like, look, people, and I've heard people that I know, people that I work with. We got over 120 viewers right now, guys. This is great. A lot of people. Steezo is going to keep an eye on the comments tonight. All right, he's going to keep an eye on it and watch the comments, because when we watch it, we get off topic a little bit. But I know that people are going to say, I've heard this from colleagues of mine. There is a vaping epidemic going on because kids are using them in school, right? Okay, I smoked Marlboros in school. All right, there was no vape around. And do y'all know there's a song, 1973? I forget the name of the band. I have to look it up. Smoking in the boys' room, because everybody knows that smoking ain't allowed in school, right? 1973. Kids have been smoking in school. It is not a vaping.
Huh? Why hasn't anybody remade that song?
I thought, well,
they did. It was called Motley Crue.
Yeah. Who was the ones that? Hold on, I have a note on it just so I can give them credit. It was Brownville Station.
Yeah, Brownville Station did it.
So look, I figured if we're going to talk about vaping, Steezo, keep an eye on the comments. If we're going to talk about vaping, why not bring on a vape expert from holycowejuice.com? We have Alan Wilson with us tonight, a good friend of mine. Alan, actually, let me tell a story. Matt Bradley gave me my first mod. Is Alan on screen now?
Yeah, Alan's on screen. I have the same mod from Matt Bradley.
Everybody's got the same mod from Alan.
I just heard, and ladies and gentlemen, now we bring you the Antichrist.
Vape expert, that's what's up.
Vape juice expert, Alan Wilson here. But let me just tell y'all. So Matt Bradley from Deadliest Catch had actually given me a mod. And I tried to use it back and forth. I was still smoking cigarettes. Elena's on me. She's like, you have kids now. You have to be responsible. You got people counting on you. And I was back and forth messing with this little vape. And I started to figure it out, but I couldn't find a juice that I liked, right? And one day I was at a Float for Recovery. Marty Norman was there. And I was trying to put the cigarettes down. I said, man, let me hit your vape. And I hit it. And I was like, now that tastes good. What is that? I was like, I can vape that right there. And he said, oh, that's your buddy Alan. So I'd known Alan. I just never tried his vape juice. I don't know why. But he said, that's Alan's juice right there. And I've got, 19 bottles of it sitting on my – by the way, Alan, if they decide to ban it, I'll take 10 55-gallon drums the day before they vote on it. Just go bring it up before the vote, right before it. All right. I'm just saying, if we're going to go black market.
That's a lifetime commitment, James.
I have a lot of space in my office. If y'all just look right over, there's no problem. My kids can play on them and everything. So, Alan, you messaged me the other day. And were telling me about you're asking me to call a phone number, right? For a congressman or a representative, or is it the mayor's or a governor's office?
Yeah, it was the governor's office in Kentucky, because word on the street was that he was pushing, or the mayor was pushing the governor's office to possibly take a look at banning vaping in Kentucky. So
was that the mayor of Frankfurt?
Mayor Fisher.
Mayor Fisher was.
Yeah, I think that was the deal.
Man, yeah, I am in trouble because I saw him today. He's a big supporter of the recovery community, but I'll say it again.
Don't quote me on that.
Okay, it could be a different mayor.
I wasn't focusing on exactly. I was focused on calling the number of my testimony because here's the deal. I do business nationwide. A lot of business along the East Coast, and Massachusetts ban hurt the entire nation overnight. So I was literally on the phone for like 3 days till it almost I almost felt sick yesterday. Just wiped me out, and I still feel wiped out today about it. But just been on the phone, on the internet, with my business associates. These people had to close their doors down overnight, and I've been doing business with them for 4 or 5 years. So these people come up from nothing, basically, new businesses, new entrepreneurs, first-time entrepreneurs, and we've continued to do business, make a lot of money, get a lot of people off cigarettes. And I was watching them close their doors and shut their shops overnight all over Facebook. And then you have the individual vapors that are messaging me about, popcorn lung, which was the topic like 3 or 4 years ago. Of course, we all know like V2 concentrates and everything are out. So, and the statistics on that, 1,000 times more likely to get popcorn lung from a cigarette than vaping. And I don't know if there's even one case of popcorn lung from cigarettes, but who knows? So, yeah, that's basically what it was. It don't matter what state you're in. If you're not if you want to continue to vape and you need to be on the phone, mayor, governor, White House, if that's what it takes. And it will at least make, if the phones are ringing off the hook, it will at least make them think twice and not make rash decisions like they did in Michigan and Massachusetts and New York. And the thing is, Michigan's above Indiana. I live in Indiana. I'm an Indiana resident. My laboratory's in Louisville, Kentucky. So if Kentucky does it, Louisville's kind of like the test market for the Midwest or for our tri-state area at least. And other people will follow, and it's going to do a lot of damage. I got a lot of people. I manufacture for people in this area as well in my ISO 7 clean room. So we're talking about, more businesses being shut down, more entrepreneurs. I got some really good people in this area that are business owners that it will affect everyone. So,
how much money do you guys think Big Tobacco has lost out to vaping?
Seen some stats the other day. I think they was talking about we're doing roughly 24 trillion a year within the U.S. As a whole.
That's insane.
Well, it's insane, but here's the real catch. And I think a lot of people think this thing is just a fight against Big Tobacco, but if the more smokers we convert to vaping, there's roughly 10 million vapors people vaping in the United States. How many of those people won't be in the hospital dying of cancer and chemo treatments and all the medication associated with those things in 30 years? Overnight hospital stays, trips in the ambulance, So it's a lot bigger than just Big Tobacco. You have to sort of include the long-term big pharmaceutical hit too. So we've got our hands full here.
Yeah, smoking, the tobacco industry is hand in hand with the big pharma industry because one creates the other. One helps the other. It's one scratching the other's back. So if you come up with new technology, it's like people against the solar-powered cars or battery-powered cars. Yeah, that's great. You have a battery-powered car. You're still leaving a bigger footprint, a carbon footprint with your huge-ass battery, whereas vape is actually helping people curb their nicotine addiction and avoid the cancerous part of it. And then you have some assholes, and I believe it was actually Southern Wisconsin where these two brothers were doing the THC cartridges. Where this whole thing started from of the THC cartridges. Yes.
Yeah, I heard something about that, and somebody's saying in there that I'm not gonna say they're wrong for this, but they say popcorn lung is a condition that may have supposedly anything. Like every time something happens, it pops up on the internet. They tell you the people that died, and someone else in there just said, "I used to like your teachings, and I'm not going to tell anybody about you no more." Something like that. Well, c'est la vie. I'm sorry to hear that, but I have my truth, and that's it. Vaping helped me stop smoking, right? And I wasn't out there. I'm glad I wasn't. I'm glad I found Alan because I'm glad we were friends because I'm not out there buying it off the streets or buying something that's just made in a garage. You know what I'm saying? Metal shavings, oils, God, who knows? what inside of it. And apparently they ended up with, is that the ones you were talking about, Steve, out there, that the ones that had the hydrogen cyanide?
Yeah, they were the ones that were refilling. They would buy e-cig cartridges and fill it with THC oil and then cut it with their own whatever oil you're talking about or whatever.
Yeah. Bill Jarvis, he's a friend of the page or whatever. He says, bullshit, people are dying faster from vaping than smoking. Bill, if you want to post any evidence to that in the thread or send it to me or whatever, I'd be happy to take a look at it. But I don't see the reports of it. And my question is this then: why aren't y'all going after the people that are smoking? Why is it vaping?
Yeah,
Why
7 million deaths a year.
7 million deaths a year? And why are they not attacking big tobacco?
But guys, you got to realize you can't like put drugs and marijuana in a cigarette. People don't do that.
Right. You can't lace a cigarette.
And they actually do attack cigarette smokers, but they do it in the form of taxation, where your state and your country and your federal government makes money off of it, as opposed to making it illegal. That's the huge difference here.
And you know what my understanding of the cigarette tax is this: that cigarettes cause so much of a public health crisis, and a lot of these people don't have insurance or whatever. They get sick, so you have to pay a tax to help the government afford that burden, right? Well, these people are not getting sick. At least we're not seeing it. We're not other than the black market THC cartridges. People are not getting sick from this and causing a public health crisis. So there's no tax on it. Maybe that's what this is. Maybe this is a way to come up and say, okay, you can do it, but we're going to tax it.
I have to, like, from my own personal experience, and like I'm somebody, like how it affects me. And by no means do I encourage people that do not smoke to vape. But I could tell you in my own personal life, like I smoked Newports for 20 years and I was hacking up stuff when I got up and I started going to the gym and I couldn't even get on the treadmill for like 5 minutes. When I switched to vaping, my lungs cleared up. I run every day now. It doesn't, whatever it affects, it isn't that part of my lungs. I don't cough and hack up stuff. Long-term effects, I don't know, but I know I see immediate results. I don't necessarily believe the media. Like my dad, I went over to my dad's just last week, and he said, "You've seen all the news ads about that stuff? Thought you quit smoking. That stuff will kill you." And I'm just like, "Dad, no, I haven't, because I don't even watch network television for this reason."
What you're not putting in your lungs is tar.
Right. Yeah.
That's why you can breathe and run on a treadmill.
Somebody just asked, Virginia just asked, so would you feel comfortable blowing vape in your kid's face? Just curious. She said,
I don't know why anyone would do that anyway.
Why? Yeah, I don't know why anyone would do that. And no, I would not, because it has nicotine in it, is the short answer to that. It has nicotine in it. I don't want to blow nicotine in my kid's face. You know what I mean? There's a lot of things that I'm not comfortable with giving my kids the same amount of sugar. That's a major killer, a highly addictive chemical, the sugars that people allow their kids to have. I'm not comfortable with it. So
and remember, this isn't necessarily a debate on whether it's good for you or bad for you.
Right.
This is saying if we banned everything that teenagers abuse,
or even that. It's not even about it's so much about the teenagers abusing it or whatever. I don't want kids in school vaping. I'm just being honest when I'm telling you. You walk into any high school tomorrow when kids go back to school, you will smell cigarette smoke as you walk down the hallways and past the bathrooms in every single school or outside, whatever, where people are hiding smoking. It's not a debate of whether it's good or bad or not. What I was focusing on whenever I spoke to Alan is this: the demand is too high to ban it. Okay. Now go look at the opioids. The demand was through the roof, and they stopped the pill mills. They didn't ban it all, but they stopped the flow of it. Everybody switched to heroin. Okay. So does banning heroin stop the overdoses? Will banning vapes stop kids from wanting to vape or smoke cigarettes?
And that's kind of where I stand on it as well. You know, the United States started the war on drugs. You know, all it did, the drugs are kicking 100% of America's ass. That's all there is to it. Drugs are winning in the United States of America. You can have a war on drugs all you want. If you start a war on vaping, it's dumb. Vaping is something that is helping people get off of something that is killing people, 7 million people a year. And vaping is proven to help people stop consuming all the carcinogens and all that shit that's comes with smoking cigarettes. So it's just it's your government going after a cure from their tobacco product that in turn goes to the fucking pharmaceutical companies, your Chantix, your patches, your nicotine patches, all that shit. It's the same. It's your government poisoning one against the other.
Right, and I just want to say this too. Like Sweezy mentioned children, so that's been their their lead man in the battle this whole time, and this is a repeat pattern over since 2014, since I've been in the industry. Is it always starts out with that's their but the kids, and then they backpedal, and then they try to do policies and changes in FDA compliances, and they switch the dates up on us to try to knock us off our feet. But the thing is, my lab's FDA compliant to date. And I do want to say this, myself and the majority of the vape industry, included online, is 21 and up. We have age checkers on our website. It's the very first thing that pops up. So if you go to like purchase anything from the website, you have to enter in all your information. You have to send a picture of your ID in. A company has to check the ID identification before you can even purchase anything online. So a lot of vape sales for vaping are already 21 anyways. And to the guy who was talking about, people dying or whatever. So I've been in the industry since 2014. I wasn't the first one. Vaping had been around for many, many years, probably roughly a decade before I even got in the industry. So, you're talking a good 15 years of people vaping. I haven't heard of anyone dying, anyone being sick, and I travel the country. Some of my friends travel the world. Vaping is everywhere in every country. There's no epidemics anywhere in any other countries or anything like that. And we're talking about 15 years worth of evidence. So, and I have to constantly go back to the fact that the Center for Disease and Control stated that it was THC cartridges. I don't know why people keep dropping that fact, but
well, it's just people find something. Everybody needs a villain, right? What happened to the Amazon was burning like a week ago? The lungs of the world were burning to the ground, and we were all going to die, right? Remember that? And then the polar ice caps were melting, and the sea levels, like Florida's going to be gone in the next 5 years or something like that. And the sea levels actually raised like 0.0 centimeters. Exactly, nothing.
Right.
Everybody needs a villain. So if it's not a politician that's your villain, especially with social media, people need some people, not all. I like to think most of the people that watch this show are not of this brand. People need something to complain about. They need something to be the cause of their problems, whatever that is. Here's another interesting.
This show's giving me anxiety, James. You're giving too many dark statistics.
Well, I'm just saying, if you just
can of worms.
Look, you look at the news just last week or 10 days ago, whatever it was. The Amazon is burning. The Amazon's called the lungs of the planet, and it's all going away, and we're all going to die, right? And then long after that.
And just a quick side note, that started out as a controlled burn.
Okay. And then you look at real stats, and you find out that the Amazon burn. This happens every year. It's just it was broadcast on the internet now, and also that burning is good for the environment because it creates fertilizer for the rest of the forest. There's a whole process behind it, and now it's just all gone. Everybody had something to blame for their problems for a short period, and now it's all gone away.
Let me back up just a little bit. When you said when you look at real stats, are you suggesting that there are fake statistics?
Maybe I misworded that even to say real stats. When I'm going to say common sense because But look, here's another one for you. Estimated 88,000 people, 62,000 men, and 26,000 women die from alcohol-related causes annually. 88,000 people. That's more than the opioid epidemic produced. And they die from that annually, making alcohol the third leading preventable cause of death in the United States. Guess what number one is? Tobacco. Number one leading cause of preventable death in the United States, tobacco. I don't know what number two is. I should have
Wish
looked
I
that
had
up.
a mic.
Huh?
I'm just thankful that high school kids don't drink and smoke cigarettes.
I'm glad too.
That'd be very irresponsible.
I didn't, but yeah. Well, you know, and look, to each their own. I don't want to see my kids vaping. I don't want my kids to smoke. I don't even want them to drink. None of that, right? This is not about that. This is about the idea of a manufactured crisis. I mean, and it's horrible what happened to those people, right? They bought something off the black market, it killed them, and now we manufacture this crisis that surrounds good people doing good things. And Alan, I noticed I got a bottle of Holy Cow right here.
Yeah.
On all the bottles of Holy Cow, there's a barcode right here. What is that? This little, it's a QR code.
QR code that goes to the website.
It goes straight to your website?
Straight to the website.
Okay. And then these bottles are also tested, correct? Your samples?
Yeah.
Tell me about
they're FDA compliant. So let me start out with I gotta back up a little bit. So I came along in the Wild West days, and it was on the verge of like a lot more smaller guys coming up, and we come up pretty quick. There was one shop when I was living in a 3/4 house, not my finest moment. I was living in a 3/4 house, and I had this pain that was shooting from the front of my chest to my back, and it went on for like 3 or 4 weeks. And I was praying, like, about quitting smoking cigarettes, and I bet a guy at work, he bought a pen. He's like, I'm gonna quit smoking. It was this most ridiculous thing back in the day. I said, I bet you $20 that shit don't work. I don't know. Can I say that word? Bet you $20 that don't work.
Yeah, you're good around this way.
Okay. So he got my $20, and I went and bought me a vape because he quit smoking, and I could not afford e-liquid. The closest shop to me at the time was Derby Cigs. Troy LeBlanc is a really good friend of mine, and he owns several of the Derby Cigs in this location. But his store is 30 minutes away, and back at that time, e-liquid was $25 for a 30 ml bottle. Because it was he only carried the highest grade products made in a pharmaceutical lab, and you had to pay for it. A lot of us couldn't afford it, so that's how I started making it. And eventually, one thing led to another. Now I own a ISO 7 clean room myself, and have for many, many years. So it's not the I shared this in a video the other day. I probably spend more time prepping and cleaning and sanitizing the environments, the equipment that we use to manufacture the product in this IL7 clean room than we do manufacturing, because this controlled environment has 5-inch HEPA filters in the ceiling, and it rotates the air out. Once you get in there and you shut the door, it rotates you out 90 times per hour. So anything airborne, anything that's not meant to be inside, it's a pharmaceutical grade laboratory. It's the same thing pharmaceutical companies use to bottle pharmaceuticals. I can't hear you, Sweezy.
Damn it, I did it to myself. I've been in the clean room. So it has there's also a sticky pad before you walk in the door that kind of it pulls the dust and stuff off your feet before you step into the lab. Right. I've gone live down there a couple times.
Yeah, so everything's stainless steel equipment. We got the proper sanitizers and equipment to actually run the laboratory, and cleanliness and health is our number one concern. When you take all the products inside of this controlled environment, it rotates all the air out within, and then we can guarantee that when we put the product inside the bottle, put the cap on, seal it, and then we finish manufacturing the product, when it exits the clean room, it goes into the inventory. Now, that's a lot different than if things go back to sort of a prohibition days where people are trying to learn how to make in their living room all over again.
Right.
And they will.
They got pets and kids laying around.
So you're not in your mom's basement with a syringe and a fucking beaker going, oh, okay, it looks good to me.
Yeah.
Package it.
No. No, I got a lot more overhead than,
Right.
than my mother, than my mother's household.
Right.
But yeah, but that's the deal. Like that's what it will turn into is people trying to, it's basically putting us, 10 years backwards, especially with the health concern. Concentrated nicotine, like pure concentrated nicotine, is a major health risk to have laying around your house.
It'll burn your skin, right? It'll like if it
It'll
touches
do a
your
lot.
if
It could kill you.
yeah, if it touches your skin, it'll definitely burn you.
Oh yeah. Well, you'll definitely know that something's.
Yeah. Like,
Your heart starts racing a little bit, and you're like, "Whoa, what? What happened?
right.
Must have got something." So you had to,
It's like putting icy hot on your balls.
something like I don't know. I might need to try that.
No, don't do that. Don't do that.
Don't do that.
I fell for that in high school. Don't do it.
Hey, why we got Alan here? What do you think about? In case some people don't know, like his story is very inspiring. Like, should we get into Alan's story a little bit and tell him how he built this business? He's in recovery and stuff that he's at risk of losing.
Oh yes, I mean I can touch base on it real quick. So, basically started doing illegal stuff. Running the illegal black market, selling stuff on the black market, and I was definitely addicted to, I was addicted to Oxycontin. Unfortunately, I got a prescription one time. I thought that was my golden ticket and I deserved that stuff. And I took that and I ran with it. And that led me down a really, really, really bad path, So I tell you, in my heart, I'm not going to give up this fight because I've seen the bottom of the barrel from pharmaceutical company. Like I was the bottom of the barrel as a result of pharmaceutical drugs. And I'm constantly like my mission in life now is a healthier alternative and a natural solution for everything. And that drives me. And that's why I haven't given up the fight against big tobacco or big pharma, because I feel like together we can create a better world, a healthier future for everyone. And if I thought for a second, trust me, if in 2015 I started vaping and I started hearing thousands and thousands of people dying from vaping and there was cancer and it was all proof, like we had all this stuff, I would have never jumped in on this industry. I wouldn't be contributing to hurting other, my other human beings. So I wholeheartedly believe that is a healthier alternative and it will provide a healthier future. Unfortunately, it's going to take a lot of money from a lot of old money that we're fighting against.
Right. Bill Jarvis, friend of the page, asked a good question, and he's waiting to hear my response. And Krista Turner's in the house, Sober Momster. Y'all can jump over and like her page. She's got a great story as well. Bill, let me go back to your question right here. And he says, to me, vaping versus smoking is no different than shooting heroin versus Suboxone or methadone. Do you see the comparison? I do see the comparison you're making. Here's what I can tell you where I stand on that, Bill. You don't have to agree with me, and I'm not upset with you or nothing for your comments. Here's where, all right, look, for me, heroin and Suboxone and cigarettes made me unmanageable. They caused major evident health problems for me, right? I was washing up in detoxes. I was having trouble breathing. I switched to vaping over a year ago. I've got about a year and a month with no cigarettes. I exercise every day. I don't have trouble breathing. I noticed the results from vaping where I quit smoking immediately, right? And they continue to carry. So vaping is not making me unmanageable right now. I can't say anything about where I'll be at on 20 years, but right now it's the safer alternative for me. So I see your comparison, but I have my reasons as well. Does that make sense?
Perfect.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of people will go back. People that have been vaping for years, I don't think they're going to go back to cigarettes. I think they'll start seeking out people or attempting to learn to make it on their own, or they'll just quit.
Here's what it comes down to. I said it in the beginning of the show. The demand is too high. Okay. There's too many people with vape products, too many mods, too many labs. Look, think about this. Think about how common a meth lab is. They're everywhere, right? You think these people that have all this equipment, all of these mods, and all these abilities to make vape juice, you think it's not going to turn into a black market? It's an instant black market. The only people that are going to stop are people like Alan. I think Alan will. I know Alan will comply with the law. He doesn't want to go to jail. He doesn't want to get in trouble. So if they shut it all the way down, he will stop. Somebody in a building right down the street will make it, and you will find more hydrogen cyanide inside cartridges, inside bottles, and you will cause another public health crisis, a real public health crisis, as opposed to a manufacturer one. That's just where I'm at.
It's guaranteed. We've seen it repeated in history with all kinds of different things. When the demand is high enough, the supply will appear.
Yeah, and if someone wants to sell it and they don't know how to make it, just like dealing dope, or whatever, selling anything illegally. If they don't know how to make it, they'll figure it out, or they'll start attempting to. So then you just got some guy trying to make it, cutting corners to make flip a little bit of money around, and it's it goes from it being made in an ISO 7 clean room to some the people in the black market might be selling some other things too. So you don't know what else is laying around.
Can I just tell you this though? Not only is it going to go to black market, the ones that are operating black market right now, the people that created the hydrogen cyanide vape cartridges that killed those people, not only is their business going to start booming, their price is going to go up by 400%. You're getting ready to make some very shady people very rich. The supply is going to remain, the demand will remain. The supply will shorten to only black market. Now, Kevin Booth says there already is a black market for it. I agree with that. There is black market out there. There's black market everything. There's black market Chanel purses. Okay. There's black market Rolex watches. There's always going to be a black market. But if you take away the legal supply, the black market is going to boom. And anybody that takes this away, as the health crisis increases and people start dying from more hydrogen cyanide pods or whatever those things are called, the cartridges,
THC cartridges.
Yeah, the black market illegal THC cartridges, as more people start to die from them, you help fuel that. Does anybody remember Al Capone? Do you see where I'm going with this? You're getting ready to create a new age teenage dope dealer that's toting illegal vape cartridges as opposed to alcohol or heroin.
This is what blows my mind, is that I don't know if it's the general population. I'm going to use my parents as an example. They do not think that the media or the news has an agenda. That blows my mind. Like, people just believe whatever they see, and they get them in a hysteria. Like my father said, "Have you seen the news? That stuff's killing people." And I didn't debate with my father. I just went like this, because if they see it on Channel 2 or Channel 10 news, they just believe it. They trust it as pure.
Yeah, that's a whole different conversation itself, because cable news is not doing very good. They're spiraling out faster and faster. We got a lot of alt media guys, on YouTube, and a lot of people coming up like Ben Shapiro that aren't afraid to tell the truth. And the cable news is selling fear. They're solely relying on selling fear to the public to stay alive. 10 years from now, they probably won't be.
It's because if you have a villain, if you have something to talk about, that brings ratings, which brings advertising dollars, right? They don't care about any of that. It's all about what meme, what post, or what broadcast can bring the most ad revenue. That's all it comes down to. Right. So Kevin says, I don't always vape, but when I do, it's holy cow.
Hey,
that's our buddy Kevin Hatfield from here. He also made another good comment. He said, Kevin Booth says, I agree, they should stay out of everyone's business. Where did that comment? Oh, he says, either switch or don't. It's your decision. It works for us. This is our experience. And that's where I'm getting at. I'm not here to actually, we brought Alan on because I trust Alan. I get all of my vape juice, all that comes from Alan. I can walk in the lab. He shows me, I know he's doing it right, but we're not here to debate whether it's 90% safer, 95% safer, any of that stuff. What I'm trying to get across is whenever you remove a legal product where there's a massive supply like this, where there's a massive demand, when you remove a legal product like that, you are opening the door for a new wave of dope dealer that's carrying hydrogen cyanide vape cartridges.
I got an idea, Alan, and maybe you could back this up. But I don't know, 80% of the people I know in long-term recovery, they vape.
Oh yeah.
So do you think that vaping is preventing people from relapsing?
It might be breaking old patterns. Breaking old patterns is huge on recovery. So, I don't know. I'm not for sure.
Run with it, Alan. Run with it,
man.
That was supposed to be funny, guys. That was supposed to be a joke.
Right. Well, it is about breaking old patterns, but that's the deal. So, like Massachusetts, for example, because I want to throw this out there. We're playing chess, not checkers. First of all, like, it's not just what the media is saying. I've been on this thing since about 2015, 2016. Done a lot at as much advocacy as I possibly could and could afford donating. And this is a long played out story of a game of chess of the government and then the e-liquid industry, and then the government and the e-liquid industry. So Massachusetts ban was only for 4 months, and I think that's still what it's at. 4 months is just long enough to put small business owners out of business. A lot of small business owners that own brick and mortars probably won't be able to make it for 4 months with their doors shut. So Big Tobacco Marlboro, I think it was Marlboro, just released a new device that they're planning on coming out with. I don't know how, because there's this big gray area of new products in the e-liquid industry, but Big Tobacco can kind of do what they want. So Massachusetts is my best state for doing business. And that's why I said earlier, Massachusetts with their ban literally affected the whole nation. I've done more business in Massachusetts than probably any state in the U.S. And unfortunately, that's why I made the phone call to the governor's office in Massachusetts, to let him know, like, hey, this is a lot bigger than you making rash decisions. But so that's the plan. This isn't this isn't a forever ban on vaping. This is a ban long enough this is an attempt to slow down our progress, because everything we needed to do to be compliant as e-liquid manufacturers and e-liquid owners and operators, we've hit. I know we've hit deadlines, and I remember about 2 or 3 months ago, they're trying to backdate our dates now of how long we got to be compliant and do all of our testing through the FDA, because we're already compliant. We're doing everything they asked, and I don't think that they was expecting that. So how they try to stop our momentum is to put bans down, and they're temporary bans or whatever until they can sort of catch up and release new products. It's
so exactly the only reason I see to ban for that period of time right there is to slow you down,
right?
Because it directs more money back to Big Tobacco. Well, it's always going to come down to money,
right? It's going to be a failed attempt at them trying to put us out of business, because I'm telling you, we're not going anywhere. And I like this saying, I have not yeed my last haul.
but you're not going anywhere because the demand's too high.
The demand's too high,
and we're through the roof.
And we're compliant, up to date. That's the thing, is we've done everything everyone has ever asked us to do. I can't tell you how many thousands and thousands of dollars I've lost on labels, because every 6 months or a year they change the labels. So I have to throw away all my inventory and redesign my label. Got to pay graphic design artists. Got to have all new printed up with MOQs, and I have to chuck thousands of dollars worth of labels away, and then I have to go back and remanufacture. So even I've started using my laboratory manufacturing in a low risk manner because they change stuff up so much. So if we have to, relabel a product, we have very little product that we have to do because we were spending weeks on trying to like manage this inventory that the laws had changed on and the labels, and it's just a mess, man. But I run my laboratory pretty low risk now, and with the laboratory, we can kind of make it, steep it in large vats or containers, and then kind of make it as we go. And so we don't get burned. I had to learn the hard way, just throwing thousands and thousands of dollars of labels away multiple times because they just keeps, changing up overnight,
I see people getting a little bent out of shape and saying next time you should have a medical professional on there so you could get the facts. But
I think that was just a suggestion, though.
Actually, medical professional, they can look up the Royal College of Physicians. I think they're medical professionals.
Well, I was just gonna say, like
the statistics are out there. People just don't want to. They don't want to look.
Yeah, there's a lot of news going on and a lot of stuff in the media, and there's not the other side of it on there. So this is just a show with us saying our personal opinions.
Right. It's our personal opinions, but if you want factual information, you can look up the Royal College of Physicians data that they've done long term. Of course, that's not within the U.S., but they also don't have the FDA. A lot of their leaders in their country support it. The whole country supports it. Their doctors, there's scientific evidence out there to prove that it's 95% safer. Nothing's better than the absence of, but no one wants to dig for that, because that means that they can argue on Facebook about it.
That's it.
So.
Well, Alan, I want to thank you. That was a great show. That burned by. What's up, Steve? You got something else?
I was just gonna say this is a show that you would never see on mainstream media because it's for grown adults talking about real shit. One of the people owns this company and lets you know that he's compliant with all the FDA shit and all that, and it's a real business, and it's a good thing instead of a bad thing that the media has forced this war against.
That's it. So, guys, check out Steezo and them after this show. They have on Lose the Radio, LTR. They got a show. You can plug that. Brian's got a show. Everybody's got a show now.
I got a website. You can use Dirty 30 to save 30% off any of your orders, as long as I can ship to your states. And we ship nationwide. You might want to use it. Stock up, maybe, and call your governor's office, call your mayor's office, call the White House.
Is that all one word? Is that all one word? Dirty 30?
Holy cow! Dirty 30. Yeah.
I just put in the website with the code, y'all. It's Dirty 30 on there for 30% off if he can ship to your state. Someone asked if you can ship in New York.
I'm not.
You can't.
Well, New York's got some ban. There's people there. We're fighting. Here's another thing you want to hear on the news. We're fighting this thing full force, but they're not going to talk about that either. But so yeah, until then, until things clear up, I got to run a tight ship. I got to lay my head down at night, and in case, because when they do come knocking, or when they do come back around or whatever, I want to make sure I'm trying to abide by. That's the deal.
Yeah. Well, that's probably why they were asking. They didn't know if you could ship to New York or not. They said they got something going on up there.
Yeah, I don't think right now. I don't think that it's a major issue shipping into New York. I probably wouldn't myself. I probably have to refund the, have to refund the purchase.
North Carolina, some Krista, sober moms from
North Carolina.
Can you ship there?
So far so good, I think. I don't know. I slept last night. I haven't. Maybe I woke up and they banned another state, and I don't know. But
all right.
So far, I think it's just Michigan, Massachusetts, and New York. Bunch of blue states.
Brian, Mary swung back around. Do you see her comments? She said she's not arguing. She's just hoping to do the opposite and educate. She was trying to suggest that maybe we have a medical professional on that can talk about it.
Oh, there's
I like that idea.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that lady, there's the doctor was just. Anyway, never mind. We gotta wrap it up.
You're good, Krista. Sober Momster, go follow her page. You're good, Krista. You can order to North Carolina. My favorite, Krista, is Pink Bunny. I use a Pink Bunny 6 milligram, and there's some other ones. Krista knows me. You can message me and ask, but Pink Bunny is where it's at. you're asking
Yeah.
me.
If you can't find a flavor profile on the website.
Oh, he's got plenty of favorite profile. So, Steve, you got some traveling music? I got a plane to catch it. And, I got to get up at 3 a.m. I'm heading out to Orlando. But, hey, Alan, sincerely, thank you for helping me quit smoking, man. I appreciate it. Regardless of, we're not here to debate all that madness, but I thank you. I really do, honestly.
Yeah. Alan, thanks for teaching me how to levitate.
Yes.
Levitation is good.
Alan, I want to thank you for being a white guy with dreadlocks. Keep that dream alive, brother.
Yeah. Anytime you need me on the show, man, just let me know. I don't have to be about to eat liquid.
We love you.
Yeah, we appreciate you guys. Thanks for tuning in. Check us out on Sundays. It's called Digital Influence Live, but the show has just kind of got its own name. It's a dumpster fire every time we go live. If you haven't yet, go to my page and hit the message button and type in hashtag LIVE, live. You have to use the hashtag, and it'll subscribe you to LiveBot. Every time we go live, you'll get a message and a link in Messenger. Love you, Bill Jarvis. Wyatt Sampson, thank you for tuning in. We appreciate you. Sober Momster, Kevin Booth, Tina Strong, everybody. Kevin Hatfield's in there somewhere. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Kevin.
Guys, pray for us that James didn't make the wrong people mad at us.
Hopefully we'll be back next week for another show.
Right.
If not, at least go to Holy Cow E-Juice and blow his spot up. Alan, thank you, sir.
Yeah. If my page gets deleted, just search James Sweezy and see if there's a new page.
All right, boys. Awesome show. Let's do it again next week.
I'm freaked out.
Postgame is brought to you by Christ, I can't find it. The hell with it.